Hey guys, I'm going to go ahead and show you the crop tool and the perspective crop tool. And the slice tool and slice select tool we'll get into later when we're working on our final project. So don't worry, you will learn those, but not yet. For this week, we're going to mostly focus on mark making tools. So the crop tool is fairly simple, and you've probably used it in many other programs. Use that to crop the overall image. So if I wanted to cut out part of this image, I could actually just slide these crop marks over, and when I'm happy, press return. Okay, if I undo that, you'll see also up top I can organize that by width and height and resolution. This I've used in a pinch if I accidentally created something at the totally wrong size, and it helps me resize everything. Just know that if you change the resolution to a higher resolution, while the file will technically have that resolution that you designate, it won't look better. It's just copying pixels and trying to make it look good. Okay, so for example on this, I think it's 8 by 10, 300 dots per inch right now. But let's say I actually needed a 7 inches by 5 inches, and this is for a photographic print. And maybe I still needed it at 300, or maybe lower. Let's say 150. Right? So this has already made that proportion that you want, and I can, slide it in or out, depending, and it will make the final result that size. So I pressed return. Oops, I thought I pressed return. I pressed return. It got smaller because it's lower resolution, and it's also smaller image. But if I say image size, you'll see 7 by 5, 150 pixels per inch. Okay, let's undo that. Okay, again, you can change so it stays the original ratio. You can select specific ratios. You can type in your own ratio. If you have multiple images, you can choose based on the front image, and these are kind of some standards that you might use. You can even create your own preset. Additionally, there's this cool straighten tool that did not always exist in Photoshop. So if I want to make sure this line is straight, perhaps, I could click and drag. Looks like it probably is. So just dragging from one end of the line to the other. And it did adjust it a little bit. So now I would just use that to crop out the outside. And it says delete cropped pixels. Okay. Let's undo that. Here you can see different kinds of grids over this, so this helps in composition as you're cropping. This is fairly new, I think, in Photoshop too. These were not always there since I've been teaching. And here you have a few different ways you can work with the crop tool. Right now we're showing the cropped area auto center. If you wanted more classic, like those you used to old Photoshop, you could do that. This is the opacity or crop shield. I don't usually mess with these parts, but I think this is pretty self-explanatory. This guy will reset the crop box, image rotation, all that. Okay. If you were to use this perspective crop tool, this one's really interesting, and I'll see if I can explain it correctly. Again, you'll see you can type in the width and height that you want and the resolution. But here's the other thing you can do. Let's see. I'm going to draw a box. And let's say I want it to look a little more like this part is closer to me. What I can do is I can zoom the bottom, move the bottom corners in toward that. And it's still going to make this area into a rectangle. So watch what happens when I press return. See, this part went out of the image a little, but look, it almost looks like we're actually closer to the floor, so these are coming at us. So that's kind of cool and a fairly new option in Photoshop that you can start playing around.